having a fantastic day. It's your boy Roller217. So a few months ago, I dropped a video about the Razer Orbweaver, and a lot of people had questions about it, and people are asking me why I'm not using it anymore. So I just want to basically give you guys my thoughts about using the Razer Orbweaver for competitive Fortnite, as well as let you guys know why I'm not using it anymore. So if you're curious about that, please join me and I will give you your answer. Coke's better than Pepsi. Nah, I really didn't have an agenda for this video. Honestly, I just wanted to answer some of your guys' most frequently asked questions, but I guess I'll start by walking you through why I bought it originally and see maybe if you guys are kind of on the same path I was. But I was watching Chap, actually, I don't know, September, sometime last year in the fall, play with the Razer keypad. And I was playing on a controller. I started playing Fortnite way back in like season 2 or 3 and played Fortnite on controller, on console at first, and then I bought a PC. Like I know a lot of people have when they start playing competitive Fortnite. And I was watching Chat play one day, and I remember at one point I was screaming on controller when I started getting really serious, and I kept getting Mongrel Classic, and I kept getting the Mongrel Classic done to me, where somebody would take my wall essentially and edit it open, place a ramp in there, edit the ramp, and then kill me. And I was like, man, if only I could do that, you know, but I need to be on keyboard and mouse to do that. So I started playing around on my keyboard and with my mouse, and I just could not get used to WASD. Like, I gave it a week and I just could not get used to it. So I remember Chat playing on that Razer thing, and I was like, dude, you can move around with like a joystick, you get controller movement. It's like the perfect transition for me, because I hate WASD, but I could use this joystick to basically maneuver around. It'll be so easy for me to learn, and I'll get used to it so quick. Well, come to find out, that Razer keypad thing was out of stock, and I think it's still out of stock to this day. So I couldn't use that, so I had to look for alternative options. I looked into the Razer Orbweaver. So in comes the Razer Orbweaver. I'm like, well, it's not analog stick movement. So I know a lot of you guys are asking me if it's analog stick movement. It's not. It's actually, explained in my other video, it's just a D-pad, and it's actually not very large, and it goes in 8 directions. So you can move south. It's basically like south, east, west, northwest, southwest, etc. You guys get the point. So you can go, it's basically like using WASD, except you use one finger. And I thought, well, if I'm playing on controller, I'm used to using one finger, and then I could have all my other fingers free to hit my binds. So this should be easy, right? Wrong. It wasn't any easier than learning keyboard. And it took me like a month to learn, which isn't too bad. It's just a learning curve like anything. You don't know anything, you got to build up the muscle memory. And I did that, and I enjoyed playing on it for a while. I got good at aiming. I played Kovacs, and I also just got decent with my keybinds on the Razer Orbweaver. However, I think the biggest issue with the Razer Orbweaver for me, as I learned over time, was that floppy on this. Now, when you're playing on a keyboard, you can go hit A and you're going to move left. There's no question about it. Where this, you have one fat finger, in my case, to try to go in a direction, and a lot of times your movement just becomes sloppy, and in the world of competitive, sloppy movement will end up hurting you. So I ended up putting this thing down because it doesn't actually have controller movement. And I know a lot of people are interested in this because they want controller movement, but it does not have controller movement. It's an 8-directional D-pad. You use your fat thumb to go 8 directions instead of using WASD, and it's not any more intuitive, in my opinion. I think it's actually harder because, like I said, it's so easy to not go in the direction you want, or go northwest instead of west. And so the movement is just very sloppy. Learning a keyboard is not very hard. It's just the same process it takes to learn that. The only reason I learned this before I learned keyboard was because with the keyboard I already had it. So I could easily just go back to controller. I didn't feel bad about it. But once I believe I spent $60, and I'll put it up on the screen right here, the cost on Amazon right now, and then the cost for the Razer Tartarus as well, which I believe is whatever the cost is. You spend that much amount of money on it, you're kind of stuck with it, and then I had to commit to learn it. So that's why I ended up learning this. But once I just committed to keyboard, when I decided that movement on the Orbweaver wasn't good for me, it took just as long to learn the regular keyboard. And the movement on WASD, it's not hard, it gets easy once you commit to it. It's not any harder than learning the Orbweaver. So that's why I started playing keyboard, because the movement is a lot better on WASD. It's a lot cleaner in my opinion, and the movement on the Orbweaver sucks. It's not precise, and it's not controller movement. Now, I know some people in the comments will say, well, you could just do WASD on the Orbweaver. Yeah, that's fine, but do you want to spend that money, $70, $60 on a half keyboard that you can't even type on, to do WASD when you could do it on a regular keyboard? I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're rich, go ahead. You know, you'll save mouse space because you only have one, like you have a half keyboard. So if you have a tight desk, maybe that's something that might be worth investing in. But for most people I know who aren't, fucking Bill Gates rich, don't get the thing. Just play regular keyboard. It doesn't have controller movement. It's just an 8-way directional keypad, and the movement sucks on it. So that's why I'm playing regular keyboard now. Not to mention as well, this does not take as much room on my desk. I mean, I had to have my regular keyboard to type, and then I had to have the Orbweaver there too. It just looks ugly. You have too many things on your desk. When you have a regular keyboard and a mouse, it's just two things. So it makes your aesthetics look better too. So overall, that's why I stopped using the Razer Orbweaver. Now, I don't know, maybe one day. I hear they're really good for MMOs. So Razer fanboys, don't kill me. I'm just saying it's not good for competitive Fortnite. I might save it one day if I get into MMOs like WoW or something. I hear they're really good for that. But at least for Fortnite or any other first-person shooter, I mean, that's why I wouldn't use it. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. And again, that's just my opinion. You might find a reason you might like it. I'm not sure if you already got one. I'd love to hear your opinion on it, especially if you play competitive Fortnite. But that's just my opinion from when I used it for competitive Fortnite. And there it is. Hey boys, I just wanted to say this was my first video where I'm actually like editing it and talking about something that's not just gameplay. So if you've watched this far, I wholeheartedly love you. Thank you so much for watching. And again, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Smash that fucking like button for the boy. And if you'd like to watch some more of my content, please subscribe. But yeah,